Last week on the show, we were in Gomba looking at the costly mistakes farmers make in goat farming.
Mistake number one is having a small dream for the goat farm.
How do you mean small dream?
Someone is like, I wish I can have 100 goats. That is mistake number one. You have failed already. You will not go anywhere. And no one will tell you about this. Wow.
Welcome to another exciting episode of NTV Seeds of Gold. Tonight, we've traveled all the way to Nachifuma to meet a simple but very, very focused gentleman who has turned farming into his daily bread. His love for farming is hard to explain. You see it in the way he talks, how he plans, and how he invests. He speaks and breathes opportunity and how to turn land into an income. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Kachika Mohammed.
So that idea that you put in a lot of sunk capital, irretrievable, buying very sophisticated equipment, to me is a no-do. So I don't want to sink in a lot of money that I will not be able to recover. I prefer issues of cash flow. Have many more cows. Not onto the upper end. There are some cows that are 15, 20 million, 12. I rather have 3 or 5 million than have 1, because the risks would have been spread.
It is a humble home, tucked in a rather beautiful space where different types of trees breathe fresh air all day and night. It's the kind of environment many dream of, quiet, green, and far from the noise of the city. Mohammed's first love in farming is forestry, and this field is proof of that. But today, we are here for another of his enterprises, dairy farming. Life here is organized and intentional. We join him as he rides off on his bicycle, his simple way of moving around the farm and staying fit while at it. As we mentioned earlier, when you meet this gentleman, it is all about becoming better and learning how to make the farm pay. And that's the dream for many farmers.
I think, let me be ahead of you, I'll show to you. Exactly. You will see the manure. One of the best things to get out of cattle is manure. So is coffee. So coffee is dependent on having the manure.
On our way to the dairy unit, we make a short stop, just long enough for Mohammed to show us some of the byproducts of dairy farming and how they bring in extra income.
Kati olwale bakaleetawo wano. Kati tubujjayo eri bwe bate babuguze ne babuteekaawo. Kati era tulina emmwanyi acres 2. Our coffee is very good because you have a lot of manure. So one of the best benefits that you can get from dairy farming is the manure. But the manure, you use it into the fodder that you are going to make for the cows, but also to grow other crops. And above all, you sell it. So you sell manure because this area is a bit dry. They have exhausted the soils. You get more money.
Let's go to school for a second, shall we? Especially those who continue to shy away from value addition. Research from East African smallholder systems shows that farmers who add value in all its forms or sell byproducts often earn 30–50% more than those who rely on milk sales alone. And that means more gold. I guess everything on the farm really counts.
I think principally too, as I said, organic. I don't feed my animals using supplements, the European style. Cows were raised to be fed onto grass. So I made sure I have a lot of grass, but modernized one. I grow a lot of maize. I grew about 150 acres of maize for cows' fodder. That is making silage. Then we make hundreds of thousands of tons of maize and we plant again. Then we've got something fresh. We've got now the napier. We have about 70 acres of fresh napier. So you must feed it until there would be dry grass or silage, and then you also feed them until the fresh one. So the fresh one soften their stomach. So that is the fresh napier pokchong that you saw them making over there. Maize bran is like the sauce. You know, when you give somebody food, you must give the sauce. Now, in the morning, we feed with maize silage. We are going to see it there. So at lunchtime, we feed them fresh. That is napier grass, and then we put on some maize bran. You smear it on top. So before you give them the sauce, it's like giving somebody food without sauce. They can't eat. So we smear very little on top, the maize bran. So that flavor and that taste is like eating food with the sauce. So they don't eat it all the time. When we are serving maize silage like that one, we don't put on maize bran. When we are serving that napier, that grass that you see, we pour on top. Then they eat a lot. Now those cows that you see have not yet eaten supper. By evening, all their tummies will be big and full. So, and this maize, I grow it myself. But they will eat because there are lights everywhere. We have solar and electricity. So they can eat up to any time that they want. So now this one is very little. The whole of this one is usually full. Now the newly born calves sleep here. They're about to come. The newly born calves sleep here. They are still there with their mothers because we literally have a calf or two every day. Yeah, we literally have a calf or two every day. So they sleep here. So this is all intended to minimize getting diseases. You know, confined places, yeah. This place is very well aerated. So, you know, your cows don't get sick. We don't have a pharmacy. People with only 10 cows, if you check their drugstore, it's like a pharmacy. We don't have a pharmacy here.
More than 2,000 tons of feed. That is utterly impressive. Every livestock farmer or anyone intending to start needs to know that feed is one of the biggest factors that determines whether your farm makes sense or not. Here is a fact that will set you straight. Studies in dairy production show that good feed and proper nutrition can improve milk yields by 30 to 40%, while poor feeding, can wipe out all your profits completely.
The bulk of it is maize silage. Yeah, this is gotten fresh. Let's come and see where they are getting the silage from. The one that those ones are going to eat. You can smell on it. It smells so nice. Don't you feel the scent? It smells so nicely. And this was whole maize. Even the maize grains are in here. So it is, it's whole maize. So it's very nutritious. So we mix in microbes so that it doesn't get decomposed. And then we put in molasses so that it is sweet. And the molasses gives it the energy. So the other nzungu and whatever are going to eat this. It gives them a lot of energy. Yeah. And then the issue is you must have a lot of feeds. And it is always compressed by a tractor. You can't pull out anything easily because it is always compressed with a tractor. It is compressed. Now this golden color that you see here, it means it was well prepared. Yeah.
For how long does it stay there?
Up to 4 years. Because the microbes, they can't be attacked. You'll be seeing, bad smell or anything. You put in microbes. Microbes are bacteria that would eat any other bad bacteria that comes in. Microbes. So now this one, this is the second replacement. Because this is our easiest. We want to eat this one very fast and put in another one. Those ones there are stocked for dry whatever. And why is that? How come they can't go bad? Because you can see how we fortify them. You know, the food is inside there. We put on and cover them intensively. So water cannot enter there, yes? And then they are baked in there. The longer period, if it has stayed for 2 years, it is very sweet and soft and full of nutrients. The longer it stays, if it is well covered, the more nutritious it is. On top there is soil. There's soil all over on top. Now this is what most people don't do it this way. If you don't do it this way, it doesn't last for long. I do my things, you know, organically, and because I also have a lot of manpower and also resources. So we have, now, I can tell you, and I want to go on record, the value of this silage here is higher than the value of those cows. Let me put it in vernacular. Singa ono silage ali wano nsazeewo mutunda, sente ezimuvaamu zisinga sente eziri mu nte ziri. Ekiro ya silage eno egula $4.40. Wano waliwo kiro ng'2,000 nga mu 5. Kati gwe kubisaamu. This silage has a value of 1p. This silage here. Because everybody would have liked to rear cows, but feeding them is a problem. Everybody would have loved to buy a car. The maintenance of a car is the problem. It is easy for a millionaire really to buy a car, but maintaining it is the problem. And animals can eat, cows can eat. It is easy to raise 4 or 5 million to buy a cow. But a cow every day eats about 30,000 to 40,000. That's the biggest challenge. Now, when you find someone, this is how I conquered. That's why I can have as many cows as I want. I conquered feeds. And then I have a lot which is in the garden.
Did you know that if a cow produces a lot of milk, the calf should not be allowed to suckle too much at once? It can easily lead to digestive upsets and constipation in the calf. So controlled feeding helps protect the young ones.
If a cow has a lot of milk, do not allow the calf to suck from the mother, because it might be having a lot of milk and the cow takes about 12 or 15 liters at one single go. It will get constipation and it will die. So when the mother has a lot of milk, you gauge up to a certain point when it is about 2 months. So when the milk is beginning to reduce, like that cow that has 33 liters, you will never know, because we leave the last nip for them. You will never know how much milk has remained in there. So people who say we feed from the bottle, they are right, because you know the right quantity. So, but if you don't have high milkers, you gauge. And when you use Valalo, they know what to do. Now, when the cow has a lot of milk, isolate the calf not to suck from the mother. It can suck a lot of milk, and in the morning you find it dead.
I am learning so much more on this farm, and I hope that you are too. Now let's take a very short commercial break, but when we return, there's so much more in store for you. Don't forget to keep scanning that QR code on your screen and share your thoughts. We are in this together. Welcome back from the short commercial break. This is NTV Seeds of Gold. You can share your thoughts by scanning the QR code on your screen, and let's engage. Now, say you are away from home but need to catch the show. Well, worry not, because you can also catch us live on X and the Your TV app, so you do not have to miss a single second. And if you missed an episode and want to catch it, we still got you. All episodes are uploaded on the Your TV app and YouTube, so you can go back, watch as many as you want, and enjoy yourself. Now, where were we? The moment you step on this farm, you can tell that Mr. Kachika is quite innovative. He does things his own way, but based on results, not speculation. Wondering what breeds he keeps here? Well, he is a very strong believer in crossbreeds, and he has solid reasons for that. But I got a clue or two as well. Studies in tropical dairy systems show that crossbred cows often perform so much better than pure breeds under smallholder conditions. That means better heat tolerance, better disease resistance, and steady milk yields when managed well. But let's hear our farmer's take.
I mostly run crosses, especially of Frisians and Guernsey. Blood composition about 75. We have a few hybrids. I would not advise somebody who has not specialized a great deal to get hybrids. 100% pure breed. They are very complex. They need a lot of care. They give a lot of milk, but they need a great element of care. Yeah, you know, the hygiene and everything must be well neatly put in place. So you can see there is no smell in this area here. There is no any foul. So if you give them a large space, you are likely to keep the place clean. And but the pure breeds require certain specifics, most especially feeding. I don't agree with having a lot of supplements because they drain your pockets. I prefer to grow the feeds myself. That's why I said the farm is organic.
If you want to measure success, this is someone you can learn from. He does more than just farming and is performing well in all his enterprises. But he also insists that one has got to work within one's means and grow step by step, you know, process by process.
When you're a smallholder, do what you can. Don't do what Mohammed is doing. So do what you can. Most people on zero grazing have 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 cows. So why would you have 100 cows on zero grazing? You should be having a large farm. So my process is very different. I am mostly an agroforester. So I plant the trees. In the trees, I plant the maize. So I'm, I run a diversified portfolio. Every time I cut the trees, then I plant the maize. So that's why I have a lot of maize.
He had us wondering though, how does he juggle everything, running a school, managing different farm enterprises, and still stay on top of things? Well, it turns out that for him, sacrifice is a key driver.
There must be a lot of sacrifice, but you must have, soft skills in managing workers. I have 2 managers, one managing the other agro farm there, and another onto the dairy sector here. But I'm also present, but it doesn't mean I'm the one who's doing all the work. So there is a lot of division of labor. And the moment you give your workers autonomy, they will give you what you need. Yeah. So my workers have a lot of autonomy. So I don't mind about the milk production and the sales. There are people who are doing it. And then you must also remunerate them well.
Outsource when you have to, especially for the specialized work, like veterinary services. Instead of buying expensive equipment that you rarely use, let alone hardly understand.
And some other people who are yet to learn business, they don't outsource. All the machines that you see here are not mine. I hire them. Those small machines that we are making, that silage there, they are not mine. You see the company there, it's called Medical. When I'm making silage, I bring in the tractors. The truck that is bringing in the silage in here and the rest is not mine. I'm a modern business entrepreneur. Outsource your non-core businesses and concentrate onto your core business. This machine, I hired it 1.5 million per month. Yes, yet it costs 4.5 million, but I don't buy it.
Because you don't
I'm
need it all
an
the
economist. Outsource your non-core business. Hire, lease non-core businesses. You've not seen a truck here. You've not seen, even where you go, where I work, Vienna International School, you don't have a bus. Every time students want to move, we call a car hiring firm, Europe Car. If I want to go to the airport, I want a Land Cruiser, I'm going to Mbarara, I want a V8. I call, I want a V8. You pay 1.5 million, you go to Mbarara and back. Don't buy the things that depreciate. Concentrate on top, having more cows.
And now we take another short break. But when we return, we talk about hygiene, spacing challenges, if any, and what the future of this farm looks like. And also, we will get an expert opinion from YPA on what it takes to run a successful goat farm. Don't go away. Welcome back from the break, and if you are just joining us, I am your host Sheila Nabafu, and you are watching NTV Seeds of Gold. Tonight we are in Nachifuma visiting Mr. Kachika and profiling one of his many enterprises, dairy farming. Now, while on the farm, you notice that the space is big enough to allow the animals move freely. But that should not come as a surprise. Good housing and hygiene are things any farmer must not compromise. Over time, we have learned that clean, well-ventilated housing can cut diseases by almost half, saving farmers treatment costs and losses. Now, our farmer shares very insightful views on the relevance of good space, comfort, and hygiene. And he encourages farmers to keep things simple but clean.
Kati kumacha ziliridde eri kati bwe ziva wano bazikamira oziraba ze stage nze kati zigenda kuyitamu wano zigenda kuliira eri kati ova olabanga ebifo tebiguba tewabeerawo bacteria ate n'ente zirina emirembe kati zino ezigenda okuva wano tezigenda kudda wano kati oziraba ziri zitandise wakuba wali tebannaba kuggulawo kati bwe ziva wano zigenda kuliira eri. So beera ne space kati atalina ttaka ddene I agree naye alina ettaka eddene ente toziconfininga. In fact, animals that are confided in one specific place, the hygiene becomes a problem. Bacterial infection and the rest becomes so high. In fact, what I did, I used our traditional cattle keeping and only put a fence so that dogs and all other stray do not come in, but keep the animals in there would be natural environment. If you had seen me putting in metal bars and the rest, and the cow is eating there and resting here and urinating here and pooping there, then the hygiene becomes a problem. So that's why I said organic. I have very little cost for treatment. We spray only once in a month, just for the sake, because you've never seen or got a tick here. So the animals move. These ones you can see, they're going to move all over. So when the animal do reasonable exercise, it makes it healthy. So the maintenance cost to reduce. So people normally copy. I don't want to be mean, but people go for study tours, and they tour the best farm in Kenya, which is on European standards, and in the Kenyan highlands, which is a cool area. he transfers it and takes it to Soroti, which is a hot area. And these Frisians don't want a hot environment. That's why they are hairy. And then people go to many other countries, Europe, I will not be specific, they go to South Africa and they copy the models that are there. And they, people are out, but it was so sophisticated, it's so big, it's this. But in Uganda, the weather is different, the environment is different, the market is different. You simply imagine if I had 200 cows, 100 are being milked, and each one is producing 40 liters. Where are you going to sell it? So produce enough milk that has enough market. Every other day, Kenya is broking Ugandan milk. Tomorrow you hear Algeria is going to buy Ugandan milk. Why don't these markets, materialize? Produce what you can sell. Manage or have what you can manage. I manage these cows without any hassle. That's why you see a smile on my face. Because I don't know if the milk for the morning is already taken. There is a cooler in there. But most likely, before we leave this place, if you are still here, the guys who are taking this milk will be here. And they will help into purifying it. So the market is, and you'll see them paying these men. Never sell milk on credit. They will not come back to pay. Milk is not sold on credit. I don't have anything that I sell on credit, by the way. In my books, there's no outstanding people to pay the money. Absolutely not.
Mr. Kachika is a very insightful man, as we have all seen. So while engaging him further, he restates one of the key principles he believes has kept the business afloat. And that's consistency. Consistency in feeding, record keeping, breeding, and reinvesting in the farm.
Minimize your costs. Do not be taken up by sophistication. Now, if you had come here and you saw milking machines, coolers, and the calves are being fed onto the, those bottles, you would have said, yeah, it is a state-of-the-art farm. But you ask them for what we call the bottom line. All that milk has come from that cow there. There is one there which is a high milker there. It is over there, 30 liters. There's one that is there. Yeah. So in the morning, they milk about 18. In the afternoon, 12. There's one that is there. So always ask people the bottom line. People, there is this tendency that farms fail, when the owner goes and the rest. When the farm was not being run on the finances that were coming from the farm, he was having his big job somewhere, and that is where the money running the farm was coming from. I want to go on record that I am highly respected, especially by the people from the cattle corridor, because they have come here, they have seen that this man has developed his farm organically. He does not call anywhere in the Ministry of Agriculture. He says, hey, you man, which drugs do you have there in the agriculture? Send some men to me to my farm. No, I meet all my expenses. I have developed it slowly by slowly, and I'm running it within my means. So the more sophistication that you get, if you got in here and saw milking machines and so many advanced things, you would say, this is excellent. He has modernized whatever into Uganda. No. Run appropriate technology. Get a cooler, because that is standard. Should the milk not go, it should be cooled. But don't overstretch. But I don't mean those people who are using the machines are faulty. No. If you have reached that stage, like Jessa Farm, go that way. But you're having 6 cows, and then you are spending 18 million to buy milking machines because the mulalo disturbed you. You have a problem. Yeah.
There can be multiple incomes that can be constant on a farm if you are intentional. One of them, as we saw earlier, is cow dung. On this farm, cow dung is not waste, it is money. It is sold as organic fertilizer and used in other enterprises, and it brings in a significant amount of extra income. Now, that is not new to our farmers out there. Well, at least for the intentional ones. In most parts of this fine continent, farms selling or using manure can reduce fertilizer costs and improve soil health, that way boosting crop yields without extra chemical inputs. Now, maybe it's time that you also rethink how you've been treating this subtle income stream.
Kati wano wonna wabaddewo obusa. Wano wabaddewo obusa, emmotoka ebugyeewo. Bannayika mbabuulireyo the secret your dairy farming. Ekintu ekisinga okuvaamu ssente busa ne benefits naddala mu region eno. To me is the greatest source of cash flow. Yeah, because the more you feed the cows, the more it gives you the manure. So when you feed 3 tons of fodder to the cows, you get about half of it as manure. We get 3 trucks of manure every day. You can see this has just been loaded. Yeah, this has just been taken. Yeah, now, and it is first deposited into that area that you saw. Now I have contracts where I supply manure. Yeah, in areas of people who are with greenhouses, people who are planting a lot of coffee, need a lot of manure, and football pitches of schools. Of course, I have many colleagues who have schools. So to make your pitch look nice annually, you have to replenish it by putting in more manure.
Ever been to a farm that seems to have no problems at all? As in no challenges at all? Well, this is one of the, if not the first, that we have profiled. But behind that is very serious planning.
So mine are sweet challenges. Sweet challenges in manpower. The more you give them more benefits, sometimes they make overlaps. So do I really have any specific problem? Mose, because this Mose, chizibu chiche tulina ku farm eno. Because is the money there? Is there any week that workers have never been paid? Is there any time when there is no drugs? Is there any time that the cows are very sick, some of them are going to die? Is there any time that there's not enough feeds? So what is our job? Is there any problem that on this farm? Now, if I was the one to say it, you would have said this man is covering up something. I want to tell you without any fear or anything is that we absolutely have no specific problem.
Our farmers out there, you are advised to avoid unnecessary expenses. You must put, a chivalo. I mean, make the math. If it makes sense, do it. If it does not, then do not do it.
Do not overstretch yourself by, especially in terms of hybrid machinery and equipment, and also financing loans. Do what is within your means. There are people who build up very sophisticated, machinery, equipment, and the rest, which comes with its cost. So every proceeds from the farm will be going towards financing of the loans and the rest. So there is no need for me to have milking machines when there are so many young boys around who can do the work. There is no need for me to build shelters as if I'm in the Netherlands. Blankets for the cows, mattresses for the cows, and yet I have plenty of land. If it slept here today, tomorrow it will sleep there. You can see the place entirely is clean. So that idea that you put in a lot of sunk capital, irretrievable, buying very sophisticated equipment, to me is a no-do. So I don't want to sink in a lot of money that I will not be able to recover. I prefer issues of cash flow. Have many more cows. Not until the upper end. There are some cows that are 15, 20 million, 12. I rather have 3 or 5 million than have 1, because the risks would have been spread. So instead of having 1 for 15 million, milking 35 liters, I rather have 3 That 5, which are milking also 10, giving me the 30 liters. But in terms of having the calves, I'll be having 3 calves per year, and the other cow will give him only 1 calf.
When you are on this farm, it feels like they have everything figured out. But we still want to know, what does the future look like for this farm? Any more value addition? Well, Mr. Kachika is quick to tell us that the future is secure, and he actually shares how he plans to expand and create more jobs through his dairy enterprise.
There are even some ankole. That ankole one, the mother came with it. My son bought those cows, and it came about 4 months ago. It came when it was pregnant, and that Aisha also, that one there. So now when you have so many, you saw all those that were taken the other side. Now you see all these ones. Now the future plans are here. Those who ask me, what are your future plans? Bw'olaba omuntu ng'alina abawala abato bwe batyo omanya nti agenda kufumbiza ebintu, bagenda muleetera sukaali bungi. So, you know, people who have only mature cows, no young ones, you ask him, you know, he has to juggle. Let me make money from the yogurt, let me make money from this. Now, for me, production. Value addition is very crucial, but you lose your essence of production. You know, Kachira or Meta produces more sugar, and there are many business people who buy it and then go and distribute it. Now let me concentrate on top production. You look at this very beautiful calves. Now when it is ready for conceiving, we move it from here and we take it to the other side. Now this is maternity wing. These are delivering anytime, apart from that one. Now this is the maternity wing. You can see it is heavily pregnant. Omulengero wa boda amata gatute a lot every single day. Now this one's on maternity. Yeah, they are about to deliver in 3 weeks. This one has just infiltrated here. Now this is a pure breed. It's called a Fleckvick. Now this one has a lot of milk, but they are complicated. But mine are not complicated, because if it was in a confinement, it will be falling sick every other day. You need a mattress for it to sleep on. But for me, they just move. It has never fallen sick. That one delivered yesterday. That's its calf. That small one there. That one delivered yesterday. Oziraba, kati enkuba ne bw'etonya, they will be safe. Sophistication that you get, break-even becomes a problem, rate of return becomes unattainable. But you look at the gates, you look at the shelters, because the shelters should be for only rain and sunshine. It's a tropical country, Uganda. It's not Denmark. It's not Australia. It's not UK. That you must build up shelters that must be accommodating them extensively.
There is something I want to show you right about here. How do you understand, how do you differentiate an active male goat from an inactive male goat? People don't know that we have important bucks. But when you go to the farm to buy a male buck, sometimes you'll find yourself buying an impotent one. Then you take it very huge, the size is very good, but when you get there, it is doing nothing. It just looks at you. You look at the goats, it also looks at the goats. How do you differentiate an active male goat? You don't need to look at the head. You need to look right behind the forelegs. Right behind the forelegs. You see, there lies the answer. This is where the answer is. If this place is as clean as you see, the hind leg, just know there is no business. I repeat, behind the foreleg. Why do we have this place dirty? It is because when it releases spermatozoas here, it goes and hits here. That is why we have a dirty place. And behind here, you see it is very clean. This place is used for vaccination against off. This one here, the behind leg. This is where we clean a bit and add the vaccine for off. But it is not supposed to be dirty. But if you find this place, you see here, if this place is clean, just know you have taken an inactive or an impotent buck, and it is only going to grow fat or guzenda or mufunze, much as it has everything in shape, but it is a castrate. So be vigilant. Remember that don't try to show off. Be vigilant and take things as a star. When you go to those farms, probably even the supplier, the farmer, doesn't know that his goats are inactive. Even you, the buyer, don't know. So what happens? Kutomera. But YPA is here for you to make sure that next time on your next sale, you make profits, not the intended losses that we don't know. We intend to make losses in without planning very, very well. So you see the boya here. You see the boya here, eh? You see? Like it is stiff. Why? It is stiff because even if you touch, it is hard. Why is the hair hard? Because the spermatozoa goes there. So if you see it has a we should only that these are all males. I should have gotten. I'm going to show you a female one. You'll find it is always clean and the hair there is as soft as here. You see here, the boya is very soft. But here, much as the leg is black, but you can still identify that there is signs and symptoms of spermatozoa happening here. Sometimes you might find a back like this. It is as if it is cold, it is not in good mood, and you think that is all you need. No, you have to look here vigilantly. And if you see what is happening, then be sure. However, you might take an active one, but it has been used. For example, our backs are used to 300 goats, 150. So you take it to 3 goats, then it refuses because he has been used to eating rusania. Now he's going to eat from a kabakuri, so he will refuse. And when he refuses, don't think this guy is inactive. No, sometimes we have sold backs because YPA does what we call after sale services. We actually sell only to our members. If you want to buy a male back here from YPA, you have to become a member so that we can be able to follow up and see, did the goat do what you wanted? Did it meet your expectation? We go an extra mile to find that if you lose a goat within 6 months after purchase, we replace free of charge. That is what we call after sale service. We give you guarantee. Imagine giving guarantee on life. So we have seen farmers who take our goats and then they bring them back that they are not working. Immediately we put it back to the big herd. It starts shooting like a sniper. Then we'll be like, my friend, don't you think you have the problem? Your women are not up to the standard of this guy. So if this guy refuses to work there, don't be mad. Just change the standard and the guy will show you business. YPA says be an expert and enjoy agribusiness.
Thank you so much for watching the show. I hope that you learned just as much as I have. I will be with you again next week, but please do not stop scanning the QR code on your screen and let's keep the conversation going. I have been your host, Sheila Nabafu, and it's always our pleasure. But do not go away yet, because up next is NTV Weekend Edition. Get your feel of weekly highlights and timely, accurate news. Have a good night.